Hey guys. Yeah, I know there was a little bit of a mix up last night with the time and stuff. I know that may have been part of the problem, but also I was a little worn out too. But got it, double check the tonight and tomorrow are at the right time. So, well, welcome. As we're about to take it to the mic stand. So it looks like we have a few people in here already. It looks like at least three. I think I saw on the YouTube page it said five, so it might actually get started a little bit quicker tonight. Um, let's see now. So that was from earlier. Hello, four people now in here. Evening. Hi guys. that that spelling of guys usually implies like a disguise there, Woody. Hey guys, what's up? That goat, what happened to you last night? A lot of interesting news last night. Hey, Becco. Oh, you mean with Biden and the executive orders? Yeah. Hey, Woody. Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Yeah. So I have like six stories for tonight, which include um, some HBO Max news, a couple of pieces on Red Hood and Aquaman, from the comic side of things, and then some anime stuff in regards to Boruto, as well as Dragon Ball and Studio Ghibli. So that's what's on tap for tonight. Um, see. Canada cut ties with China. Our biggest fallback so far is Walmart is closing down nationwide. Hmm. Yeah. Well, I guess Canada is smarter than us in that respect because now that with Biden back in, now they're trying to get back in bed with China. Good for Canada. Yeah. Did Trudeau do that? Hey, back. Go. What? Were you busy with something else last night, or was it just that the thing with the schedule with how I scheduled the stream was that what threw you off? Because I don't remember seeing you last night. So Biden shut down the pipeline so USA isn't getting cheap Canadian oil. Yep, and he cost a lot of people jobs too. Dude talks about unity, but he's just another Hitler wannabe. Um, he's just another Hitler wannabe, as with all liberal Democrats. Biden killed thousands of Canadian jobs, killing the pipeline, and definitely improved his pal Burisma's oil profits for the coming year. Quid pro. Yep. Trudeau doesn't do anything right. Yeah. Um, excuse me a moment. I go off camera here for a quick sec. Yeah, he stinks. He's King Lefty. Yeah. Anyways, okay, so we have a few people in here, so I guess we can get started a bit quicker right away. We're already past the 5.5 minute mark. Enough with the political talk, because we here in the states we know we're screwed. At least unless something drastic happens. Canadian steel is being stopped going into USA. Simpleton Trudeau goes, but I thought he was friends. Yeah. Trudeau's a moron. Yeah. Well, anyways, we can talk about. I voted for Goldwater. Don't blame me. Yeah. Anyways, let's move on from the political talk. Because why do we want to make ourselves miserable by talking about that crap? Excuse my French. Anyways, so without no further ado, let's started on some of the news topics of tonight. Let's see. Actually, I think I wanted to start with the HBO Max story and with the anime stories. Let's see now. One nice thing is Trudeau isn't a Biden. Okay. Anyway, so let's get started then with the with this. Okay. HBO Max launches a dedicated animation hub of curated content. Okay. After acquiring animation content from studios such as Cartoon Network and Studio Ghibli, HBO Max has launched a curated, dedicated animation hub. In the last few months, HBO Max has acquired plenty of animation content from such sources as Cartoon Network and Studio Ghibli. The streamer has now launched a dedicated animation hub for curated content. Um, HBO Max announced the newly launched animation hub on Twitter. HBO Max launches animation page featuring curated collections of animated content from platform's catalog. The tweet from at Inside HBO Max read Animation Hubs see up to 85% lift in impressions since September. And I guess here's the tweet of it right here. And you got Batman the Animated Series, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Ed, Ed and Eddie. A couple others there. The official page for HBO Max's Animation Hub has sections for adult animation, old school cartoons, international films and animation, dedicated to teens and young adults. There are collections dedicated to Adult Swim, Cartoon Network, Studio Ghibli, Crunchyroll, and Looney Tunes. Actually, a lot of cable services, on demand services, have those too. Just before the Animation Hub was launched, the streamer had acquired Batman the Animated Series and Batman Beyond in January. There are current rumors that HBO Max is developing a sequel series to Batman the Animated Series, which we talked about the other day. The two DCAU series joined other DC animated series such as Young Justice and Harley Quinn. HBO Max plans to release more original DC content geared toward international markets in the second half of 2021. The HBO Max's Animation Hub currently features works from Warner Brothers Animation, Network, Adult Swim, Studio Ghibli, and Crunchyroll. Batman the Animated Series and Batman Beyond are also currently available to watch on HBO Max. So there you go. That's her story there. Let's see what you guys are saying since I last checked. Okay. Laugh out loud. Curated sounds like code for censor. Could be. Could be. But at least with Batman Beyond and Batman the Animated, I don't know how much censoring they would really need to do. Those cartoons were actually made for kids, so I don't know how much censoring they actually were doing on those. I could see maybe with some of the Looney Tune stuff, possibly. I mean, you can go onto YouTube and you can just look up banned episodes of from a number of studios, including Fleischer, Looney Tunes, Warner Brothers, all the same there. In fact, one title I remember in particular that I've looked up before was a Popeye episode from I think the 40s called "You're a Sap, Mister Jap," which had, of course, the stereotypical Japanese person, trying to bomb the U.S. Popeye having to stop him. He had the he, of course, with that caricature that they used with the huge overbite and oh sorry, so you know and I just did it to just give an example. I wasn't doing it for anything else other than giving an example there. So, hmm. So, we're already at 13 minutes. So, okay. So, as I oh wait, did I even? Oh wow, I must have forgotten to. I was reading it off to you guys, and I guess I must have forgotten to bring it up. Sorry about that. Mm, yeah, so there was a story right there. I didn't even realize I didn't even have it up. It's like, sorry about that, guys. Ah, mentally MS. So let's see now. So I guess we'll go on to the next story then, because I've just read this. Um, Go into some comic stuff here. There we go. There's a couple of stories that I'm going to touch upon here. Let's see now. They'll be censoring the newer stuff too. Yeah, more than likely. You know what happened about with absolute power, right? Well, power corrupts, and then absolute power corrupts absolutely. Bear that in mind. All right, so here's the next story I'm going to look at here. Um, yeah. So. Red Hood. Red Hood. Who was Wingman Jason Todd's other superhero identity? A little bit of a profile piece here. Oh, God. Biden and Harris highlight title waves political power magazine. Oh, God. Yeah. Anyways, who was the wingman, and how did Jason Todd briefly take over that superhero identity during the height of Batman Incorporated? Jason Todd has a history of taking the mantles of other figures from across the DC universe and making them his own. This started when he became the second Robin and carried over after his resurrection when he became the new Red Hood. But there's actually another heroic identity that Todd once took up during a time when he and Batman were trying to repair their relationship. Who was the original wingman? And how did his demise allow Jason Todd to briefly take up the mantle instead? Um, the earliest incarnation of Wingman first appeared in pre-crisis DC Universe in Batman number 65, during the story A Partner for Batman by Bill Finger and Bob Kane, Lou Sayre Schwartz, or La Sayre Schwartz, um, Charles Paris, and Ira Schnapp. After Dick Grayson's leg is broken while fighting crime, Batman trains a temporary replacement, a Swedish hero quickly dubbed Wingman. After completing his training, Wingman relocates to Europe and continues his work, seemingly inspired by Batman. The character, secretly named Benedict Rundstrom, would go on to join the Club of Heroes. I had a feeling that was going to come up. Club of Heroes was a kind of a superhero team that was based in Europe. So, an international band of heroes inspired by the Dark Knight's War on Crime. The Club of Heroes was reintroduced to the modern DC universe during Grant Morrison's run on Batman. The entire team was reassembled in Batman number 667 by Grant Morrison and J.H. Williams III, including Wingman. He was one of the heroes invited to the International Club of Heroes, ICO, assembled by the mysterious billionaire John Mayhew. In this modern incarnation, Wingman was featured as a more aggressive figure. He claimed during the storyline that he actually became a hero before Batman and is shown to have become increasingly bitter about the fame and prestige denied to him by the failure of the International Club of Heroes. Reunited on Mayhew's Island and set to solve the mystery of his demise, Wingman presented himself as an ally to the other assembled heroes. In reality, he was an agent of the Black Hand, a dark and cruel cabal of villains led by Simon Hurt. Working as their agent within the reassembled club of heroes, Wingman faked his own death and stole the equipment of his fellow hero, Dark Ranger. Along the way, he killed Dark Ranger, stuffing his body into his Wingman armor to further sell the ruse. Um, while also being responsible for the murder of the Legionary. However, Batman eventually uncovered the truth and fought him, only for Wingman to be assassinated by the Black Glove before he could reveal the full truth of the group and their intentions to the assembled heroes. He thinks we all have a chance, so much for my disguise. See if you guys are saying anything this far. We're not a gang, we're a club. uh, as always, guys, I do appreciate any and all likes and shares to help bring in more people. That does help. So hopefully we can get some more people in to enjoy the content. Anyways, the Wingman identity would appear again later in Grant Morrison run, albeit with a new man assuming the mantle, Jason Todd. Formerly the second Robin, Todd was resurrected following his demise at the hands of the Joker. Of course, this is all happening during the death in the family storyline in the Batman titles. I believe that was in the late '80s. I think it was just early. I don't know if it was early on into the post-crisis scene, not. Um, it was the death in the family storyline, as I recall. Let's see. Okay. While Red Hood initially proved to be a threat to Batman and his allies just as much as he was to the villains of Gotham, Batman eventually decided to try and give Jason the chance to redeem himself, offering him a place within Batman Incorporated and even giving him the mantle of Wingman. Jason initially kept his identity a secret from the other allies, working with Damian Wayne, while the younger hero briefly going by the identity of Redbird. The two worked well, surprisingly, together. Um, Now, Damian Wayne is the son of Bruce and Talia al Ghul, by the way, just for those who didn't know that. Um, so. um, Although it wasn't long after that Damian was killed by the heretic, a twisted clone of him made by Talia al Ghul, Jason's identity as Wingman ended up being crucial to the resolution of Batman Incorporated, with Jason's personal connection to Talia thanks to his resurrection via the Lazarus Pit, giving him the chance to trick her into sparing Batman's life. Following the events of Batman Incorporated, Jason left the role behind. His father even briefly took on the role after returning to Gotham and helping Jason for a period, giving Wingman an even greater connection to Jason's history. Oh, there we go. That's the second story. See if you guys are saying much else. No, it doesn't look like it this far. Hmm. Hmm. All right then. Yeah, I guess the last couple of nights have been kind of a little bit of a drain, huh? I was kind of bit out of it last night, and it seemed you guys aren't as lively as you were earlier in the week. So, hmm, hmm. Anyway, well, guess I'll move on to the next story then. Okay, the next story here, Aquaman. Whatever happened to the DC hero's harpoon hand? As many of you know, I think it was during the post-crisis era of DC Comics. Aquaman lost his hand, lost his original hand to I think it was Charybdis, chewed it off, and therefore was replaced with a harpoon. So the '90s hook hand defined Aquaman for a generation of comic book readers, but eventually disappeared in a literally watery grave. Yeah, I think he went from the harpoon hand to like a mystical water hand, I believe. Before he was a star of a hit billion-dollar blockbuster movie, Aquaman was best known for his unique weapon. The '90s era King of Atlantis grew out of his blonde tresses into a luscious beard and mane and eschewed the shirt and attitude of his traditional superpower persona. An even more pointed change was was the loss of his left hand, um, which was then replaced with a gnarly pirate-esque harpoon. Now, for most of us who grew up, particularly like with me and the Super Friends and the filmation and stuff like that, most of us remember Aquaman with the orange and green swimsuit, basically. The orange shirt, green pants with the green gloves, and his ability to telepathically communicate with the fish. And then filmation gave him a few more powers, like being able to fire off compressed air balls or water balls while underwater. So and or spinning around, creating a bit of a mini typhoon. So this look lasted for much of the decade, with the design choice commonly being referred to as '90s Aquaman. It was also later adapted for the DCAU Justice League cartoon, cementing the look as being as iconic as the character's classic duds. The '90s didn't last forever, though, with Aquaman's hook hand eventually giving way to the more aquatic apparatus. Here's the story behind what happened to Aquaman's sharpest look yet. Laugh Out Loud Club, and then a bunch of emojis. Okay. Okay, so and here's the comic look that look right there. The Time and Tide story arc began Peter David's acclaimed run on the Aquaman ongoing comic book and would signal incredible changes in the life of Arthur Curry. Arthur Curry, of course, is Aquaman's secret identity, alter ego, secret identity, whatever you want to call it. Beginning as a sort of thematic sequel to Peter David's The Atlantis Chronicles, Aquaman, who began going more by his Atlantean name of Orin, sunk further and further into despair. Having taken his mother's former role as the writer of the Atlantis Chronicles, he discovers the tragedy behind many of his life's events, namely his theretofore unknown relation to Ocean Master, who was his brother. Um, let's see. When Tempest tries to help his former mentor um, out of his depression, they're caught in a set by the villainous Charybdis. Charybdis. Their fight results in Aquaman's left hand being mauled by a pool of piranha, forcing him to flee after defeating his opponent. His allies, Tempest, the first Aqualad, and Volko, eventually find Aquaman in his cave hideout, having now covered the stump um, where his hand once was, with a deadly hook weapon. This new look reflected a shifting attitude for the King of Atlantis, um, who was far more argumentative and antagonistic than ever before. Anyone who stood in his way would now face his wrath, be it humans involved in illegal fishing, or fellow heroes such as the young Superboy. Aquaman would become known for his drastic change in his attitude and appearance, with comic book fans paying more attention to him than ever before. Well, Aquaman started back, believe it or not, Aquaman actually did have a Golden Age counterpart. Most people know his Silver Age counterpart, but he had a Golden Age counterpart too. You know, um, it was much the same, character. His the Golden Age version of Aquaman. I don't think he had telepathic communication with fish, but he still could talk to fish. Um, so we'll probably look at that more when we get there. We see those stories. Basically his communication with fish, his ability to swim, and maybe the enhanced strength that comes from basically adapting to living life underwater were his main powers there, even back in the Golden Age. Uh, let's see. Hmm. Nothing new there. Okay. Let's see now. Yeah. Okay. Basically, I think the '90s version of Aquaman gave gave Aquaman a little more teeth, basically, with the hook, and basically even making him a lot bigger and stronger too. You know, compared to how Aquaman was depicted in like the Filmation series and the Super Friends series. Um, it's kind of funny too because in the DCAU they actually portrayed both versions of Aquaman. When Aquaman actually made his initial appearance in the DCAU during the Superman series, he had more of his traditional orange and green outfit, and then when they brought him in for Justice League, that's when we got the '90s look. So Aquaman would continue to use his hook hand as a weapon, um, though it was eventually replaced with a cybernetic variant. In other words, one that could actually shoot and retract and all that. Um, when it was destroyed in a battle with brief rival Noble. After our worlds at war, however, both it and Atlantis itself was gone. Atlantis had vanished following the crossover event, and Aquaman's former sidekick Tempest had to call upon his new magical abilities to transport the Justice League back in time to see what had happened to it. The villainous Ganymede had enslaved the Atlanteans who had been sent back in time as well as trapping Aquaman's consciousness in a pool of water. When the battle is brought back to the present, Zatanna empowers the Aqua Pool to control all the Earth's water. Despite his heroism, the people of Atlantis blame him for their previous fate and exile their future king, sent to die out on Traitor's Reef. He instead finds a mysterious secret sea. There he meets the Lady of the Lake, who decides to take mercy on the tragedy laden man. She names him the new water bearer, bequeathing him with a mystical hand made out of water. Um, this officially replaces his former hook hand and allows him incredible control over his native element. Aquaman would retain his power up until his mutation into the Dweller in the Depths and subsequent death. With his resurrection after Blackest Night, giving him two normal hands again. That's all for that story. Well, now we're coming up on 40 minutes now, so as I'm getting some good time out of it. We got like 4 people in here now. Yay, 4 people. YouTube still says 3, but anyways, I'm happy. I'm happy to have as many people as possible. Oh yeah. So now we've got 3 anime stories to look through. Went through the television. We went through comics. So we got 3 Okay, nobody's saying anything new yet. Yeah, you guys kind of went quiet on me there, huh? Do 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 do. All right, so we'll move on to the next story here. The Boruto anime has its issues, but viewership isn't one of them. Despite facing constant criticism from fans, Boruto is still pulling in viewers, according to recent data from Crunchyroll. Naruto Next Generation, is no stranger to controversy. Since it began in 2017, this Naruto spinoff has been angering and delighting fans in equal measures, with both the manga and its anime adaptation provoking heated arguments within the Naruto franchise. However, in 2020, the criticisms become louder and more constant, with complaints about everything from Boruto's handling of returning characters to the frequent flirtations um, with more sci-fi influenced elements. Some fans have also been voicing issues with Boruto himself, with many saying that he is an annoying or boring character that puts them off to the franchise as a whole. Um, yeah, I actually did see, like, when Toonami was showing it. What was it, about a year or so ago? I watched it as well. I could see where some of the complaints, and I think some of the complaints are kind of valid. You know, because here's the thing: one of the most endearing things about Naruto and Naruto Shippuden, was Naruto's constant, despite the fact that he was the Jinchuriki, despite the fact that growing up he was like treated like garbage, despite the fact that he just didn't seem to have a lot of natural ninjutsu talent. It's like Naruto was one of those characters that you love to get behind because he was overcoming the odds. He didn't have like the video games like Boruto did. He struggled. You know, he'd be eating like he'd be drinking expired milk, and he'd be eating ramen all the time. Not maybe the healthiest combination of stuff, but you know, um, and the milk was so bad. We saw in the one episode him having to use that toilet. Remember in the English dub, they're going, "We gotta get on the plane." So, but Naruto being Naruto and Hinata's son, is somewhat, he's probably got more talent, more natural talent than Naruto did when he was his age. Um, but he wasn't looking to be the next Hokage. I don't think there are times I don't even think he really wanted to even be a ninja at times. You know, he just wanted to hang with his friends and be cool and all that. He like whereas Naruto wanted to become Hokage. I think Boruto would have been fine with just being a Genin his whole life and just doing like just a bare minimum. Get by. So, so I could see some of the people's complaints on that with that, but Whereas you find, but it's kind of interesting how you look at how you look at some of the character development too, because Sharada, um, Uchiha, the daughter of Sasuke and Sakura, she actually wants to be a the Hokage. Now, granted, the thing is she's got more natural talent than Boruto or Naruto. Naruto did at his age, because Sarada, of course, has the blood running through him of the Uchiha clan, as well as Sakura's talent. Sarada has inherited from her mother the keen mind, and then a lot of the natural physical abilities that the Uchihas through her father. But she has a strained relationship with her father because her father's gone all the time. So we can have a lively chat room, or we can stay on topic. It's difficult to do both at the same time. Yeah, that's true. We saw that the other day. Um, hey, how's it going? Just got home. Um, going to make something to eat real quick. All right. But Woody, to your point though, yeah, it's true. But you guys can still talk about the topic at hand too. I mean, um, you know, I mean, the best thing is to have a lively talk about the topic we're talking about. Um, as opposed to going off onto other tangents. But um, now it seems like I'm down to one person for some reason. Huh. At least according to StreamYard and YouTube, I have one person in here, but I think it should be more. Hey, Anon, I'll go out and burn one here. Hmm. That ain't right, Mike. We're here. Yeah, I know. I see the counter, and the counters are going screwy for some reason, but um, then we've talked about that before. It's always screwy. But anyways, continuing the story here. Some fans have also been voicing issues with Boruto himself, with many saying that he is. Oh, okay, we already caught all that. And I already kind of went through like how I can kind of see what people are talking about with that. However, it seems that this hasn't affected the series' viewing figures. Crunchyroll recently released a series of infographics to CBR showing the most popular anime around the world based on the number of unique viewers watching the simulcast. These graphs show that Boruto is still very popular around the world, being the most popular anime in 32 countries and territories. Um, yeah, I mean, you know, yeah, just the only thing is though, Boruto hasn't been shown here in the states in a while. You know, I heard some of it was due to production issues or what have you, but Boruto performs best in Asia, where, according to Crunchyroll stats, it is the most popular anime in China, South Korea, Mongolia, India, Thailand, and Indonesia. This impressive performance puts it in third place behind Jujutsu Kaisen and Black Clover. However, that third place is quite far behind the other two. Black Clover is 39 countries ahead. Jujutsu Kaisen is a massive 55 countries ahead, meaning that Boruto has a lot of work to do if it wants to match the top spot in the future. However, Crunchyroll's data is organized by country and doesn't take population into account. So Boruto coming first in countries with large populations like China and India shows that it still has a massive fan base that is very loyal and dedicated. And these numbers are just those who view that show via Crunchyroll. Um, there are likely many who watch this show on other services or Blu ray, but while it is behind in the ranking, it is clear that Boruto's fan base won't be vanishing anytime soon. Again, there is some appeal to it. There's appeal to it. There's also I can understand some of the critiques, though. Sounds good. Thanks, Doc. Um, thanks, Doc. Thanks, Doc. Thanks, Doc. Thanks, Doc. Thanks, Doc. Thanks. Ah, and a bunch of hearts. You wouldn't look in the desert for. The fact that the show is so popular despite heavy criticism can be looked at in several ways. It could be seen as a testament to how dedicated people are to the original Naruto and the world it created. However, the fans like the setting so much, they're willing to continue with a show, even one they dislike, just to learn how it all ends and to learn the fates of characters like Naruto. Which is true. I mean, despite maybe not liking the next generation as much, people still have a connection to you have that emotional investment in the main series in Naruto Shippuden, and you want to see how those characters have progressed over time. You know, even if let's say the next generation or this newer generation, you know, some people might even say they're kind of soft compared to the older generation, but um, this would also explain the sheer volume of criticism, as people who are invested in a show and the universe surrounding it are likely to spend time criticizing it because they care about it. People who don't care about a show will likely turn it off and move on to something else. And as these stats show, people really care about Boruto, if for no other reason than because of Naruto and all the older characters, if for nothing else. Or this may simply be an example of the internet and social media amplifying negative coverage when in reality, a lot of the show's viewers are enjoying it and are more than happy to keep watching it. Well, that could be true too. Okay. We've seen that quite a bit. Overall, Boruto is still riding a wave of popularity that shows no signs of stopping anytime soon. These figures from Crunchyroll prove while online anime communities are very vocal, they may not present the true picture of how popular a show or franchise is. Naruto and its associated media is still a cultural force and a titan of a franchise, even if it is going through a bumpy period creatively. So, yeah. Yes, yeah. Though docs are hearts, and I don't know, they did show as emotes. Elbow bump. Let's see. I see them as hearts too. How's it going, Anna? That's one of the new COVID emotes to prove that Susan really loves us. I hate that evil. Oh boy. Um, Noise Jenna. Hey, hey, good here. Just relaxing. Lockdowns didn't work, so let's lock down more. Forgot about Boruto though. Dropped it a long time ago. They chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool, shooting some ball outside of school. I got in one little fight. My mom got scared. Said you're moving with your auntie and uncle in Bel Air. Little Fresh Prince action there. Ha 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 ha. I'm here. Hey, solid. What's up, man? The license plate said fresh, and if it had dice in the mirror, hey, solid. I've never cared about Naruto. I kind of like Naruto. I mean, again, the thing, one of the things about Naruto, again, throughout like the earlier portions of it, Naruto Shippuden is just him overcoming the odds and a lot of the struggles that he goes through. Those are, I think, some of the key points of his charm. Basically, is that underdog aspect of it. Go home to Bel Air. I pulled up to a house about 7 or 8 million later as a Prince of Bel Air. And this will be the next one here. Naruto was okay if you enjoyed it. I dropped it when they did the filler arc at the giant tree. Mm-hmm. Mm. Well, I know some people didn't care for the filler arcs, in the first season there. But some of them were interesting for character development reasons. Just standing on certain things and how they relate to each other. Never watched Naruto or DBZ. Hmm. Yeah. Dragon Ball proves you're never too old for an adventure. So let's take a look at this one now. And we're coming up on the hour mark here. I think, yeah, we're just past the hour mark. So I was able to make it go for a while there. With a story spanning decades, Dragon Ball's main characters stay fighting fit even as they grow significantly older. Akira Toriyama's globally beloved Dragon Ball franchise has followed its protagonist, Goku, since he was a young boy. As he grew up to become a family man and full on grandfather himself, still staying spry enough to defend the Earth as its mightiest warrior. Yeah, imagine having Goku for a grandpa. That's funny. That'd be real funny. Blow up an entire world with just by creating a spirit bomb. And while Goku hasn't lost a step as he enters middle age, Dragon Ball has defied ageist um, expectations since the franchise's beginnings, with older characters continuing to hold their own against progressively more powerful opponents as the story has leaped decades ahead. Its distinction extends beyond the Saiyan, leads to its human character human characters still perfectly capable of throwing down without missing a beat as they endure the passage of time. A la Master Roshi. A la Master Roshi. The turtle hermit, as they sometimes call him. So let's see. Some fillers are okay, but yeah, it got overdone. Not a fan of mainstream anime. I'll watch anything for if it's good. I don't give a poop. My tastes are all over the place with anime. Haven't steadily watched in years though. Uh, you guys give me stuff for admitting that I watch Bobo Bobo. I'm only looking forward to record Ragnarok right now. Um, and finishing up some episodes. Um, which I think there's been a few. Like I know of one Ragnarok called the Mythical Loki Ragnarok series that was pretty good. I don't know if that's the one you're talking about there, Anna. I'm gonna buy some Coors Banquet. Um, finish Cobra Kai this weekend. I have to rewatch Mondo because um, I was drunk the first time. Well, hopefully I can get you back tomorrow night for the comics retrospect, my friend. We'll look at September of 1936. Just finished a certain scientific accelerator and starting certain scientific railgun T, and then a certain magical index 3. Hey, Mike, toys back up. Hey, Leto. We've been through a few stories tonight already. Hey, evening, Leto. Hey, Leto. Hey, Leto, Enchanted. I'm doing well, thanks. Hey, guys, sorry that I'm heading to work, but I'll be listening. I'll be here tomorrow night. Yeah, I'll get you this. I'll send you the StreamYard link there back out during the afternoon. Good. Let's see. Record of Ragnarok is a new one coming in. Okay. Record of Ragnarok. There's another one that is pretty cool too, as I was saying, mythical Loki Ragnarok. That one's a pretty cool one too. You might want to check. Have a good one. Have a good one and be safe, Leto. Good, solid. Hello, Leto. Sister who fell down the stairs. Anyways, okay. Let's see. Okay, so continuing on here. And while Goku hasn't lost a step as he enters middle age, okay, we read all that part. I guess we need to go down to the next. Oh, look at that! Vegeta with a mustache. I haven't even seen that. For Saiyan characters like Goku and Vegeta, Toriyama provided an explanation of how the two characters are able to maintain their relatively youthful appearance even as they enter their 40s and 50s. I think it has something to do with them being Saiyans, I think. At the end of Dragon Ball Z, Vegeta missively observes that Saiyans have a genetic trait that allows them to age at a visibly slower rate than humans in order to be able to fight longer and at their physical prime. While Vegeta is pushing 60 in Dragon Ball GT, he still continues to become stronger, achieving the Super Saiyan 4 transformation, while both he and Goku unlock their new plateaus combat strength in the Z sequel series Dragon Ball Super, in which they're like fighting destroyer gods like Beerus. Dragon Ball introduced human fighters that were the same age um, or even years older than Goku, including Tien and Krillin. Initially brought on as Goku's rival before becoming his best friend, Krillin was the same age as Goku at the start of Dragon Ball and is pushing 40. By the start of Super, undeterred, Krillin more than proved himself to still have the edge during Super, sparring with Gohan to a standstill ahead of the Tournament of Power, despite having retired from martial arts to focus on fatherhood and his policeman career. And his martial arts probably comes in handy as a policeman as well, from time to time. Tien proved even stronger during Super, despite being approximately 5 years older than Goku and Krillin, lasting even longer than Krillin during the Tournament of Power and facing more opponents from across the Dragon Ball multiverse. And there's Master Roshi. The Master Roshi being all studly there, huh? And he's got to be up there in years. He's got to be in his 80s or something like that. The poster boy for Dragon Ball characters defying age expectations is Master Roshi, a man who rose to become one of the most powerful fighters in the entire series despite being centuries old. Okay. With his life extended by drinking the sacred water, um, Roshi was able to best Goku, Krillin, Yamcha, and fight Tien to a standstill over the course of the original series. While Roshi took a back seat for much of DBZ, he returned in a big way for the Tournament of Power in Super, outlasting opponents that were significantly stronger than him as he displayed his full combat prowess and experience to great effect. While Dragon Ball has always featured new generations of fighters fully capable of fighting alongside and against adults, from Goku and Krillin at the start of Dragon Ball to Gohan, Trunks, and Goten during DBZ, the previous generations still are perfectly able to throw down even as they enter middle age and their twilight years. From the Saiyans' inherent genetic advantage to human martial arts masters' prodigious fitness regimens and mastery of their combat effectiveness, Dragon Ball was never a young fighter's game. And with Goku and the Z Fighters going strong decades into the story, Dragon Ball is all the proof you need that getting older doesn't mean sitting life out. Very interesting. Okay, it's on. It has it. My mission to secure the ballistics continues tomorrow. Ew. Right. His sister was fine, but incidentally, the character I was playing, his sister fell down the stairs to level up weird. That mustache was a big disgrace as AF, ASGT. All right, I'll try my best to catch some of it, but I do work, but I'm asked if I can take day off since I got a lot errands to do. Um, go with family. See. All right, I'm driving. Let's have a good show. Yep. Roshi never stopped. hmm Roshi should be in his hundreds by now. Yeah, I realize that. I think he's close to two. Yeah, the rate he's going. Yeah. Oh, damn. The wiki says over 300. Man, he's like Methuselah or something like that. But anyways, we could think I got one last story here that caught my attention. Yeah, this one right here. Okay, so here we go. The Ghibli Museum Library. Classic and art house cartoons Miyazaki wants you to watch. This one kind of caught my attention as more of a generic story. Let's see. The Ghibli Museum Library houses some of the best animated masterpieces of all time. Let's take a look at this film collection. Like you got Lupin in there, and a few others. Studio Ghibli doesn't just produce cinematic animated features. Since 2006, they have released animated films and TV from around the world under the Ghibli Ga Ippai label in collaboration with Walt Disney Studios Home Entertainment and Cinema Angelica. Let's take a look at the classics and art house favorites found in the library. The King and the Mockingbird. So there's the one right there. The King and the Mockingbird is a French animated fantasy film by Paul Granault, um, released unfinished in 1952 before its completion in 1980. The film is about a chimney sweeper and a shepherdess who fall in love and are now a shepherdess. I'm guessing is a female shepherd, basically. That I think is what they're talking about. Who fall in love and are trying to escape from a tyrannical king inspired heavily by Adolf Hitler. The King and the Mockingbird is considered a masterpiece and greatly influenced Hayao Miyazaki's films like The Castle of Cagliostro. Wrinkles. Look at that. Oh, good. The guy in the middle there kind of looks like George H.W. Bush. Look at this one. Wrinkles is a 2011 Spanish film by Ignacio Ferraras. It is based on a comic book of the same name by Paco Roca, and it focuses on the friendship between two old men, Emilio and Miguel, who live in a retirement home. Wrinkles is an adorable tale about friendship and appreciating life as you get older. The film was nominated for a few awards, including the European Film Awards and Best Animated Feature Film. Margot the Mouse. There's a mouse cartoon there. Margot the Mouse, 1985, is a Polish compilation movie created and directed by Eugeniusz Kotowski. I'm saying that 3 times fast. The film consists of 8 episodes from the original TV series, centering on the adventures of a little mouse named Margot. Margot lives in a big tree with her fellow neighbors, a squirrel named Eliana and Dennis, a dormouse. The film has zero dialogue, and so the stories are told through the visuals. Russian animated films. Studio Ghibli has released several Russian animated films, including Roman Kachanov's um, Shabroshka, 1968 to 83, and Ivanov's the Humpbacked Horse, 1947. One film worth mentioning is My Love, a 2006 short film by Alexandra Petrov. The film follows the story of a teenage boy who is infatuated with two different women in the 19th century. My Love is known for its romantic realism in which the characters and background are drawn realistically to depict actual people and locations. I guess that's what this is up here. Probably some of the realism in the artwork there. Another Russian film distributed by Ghibli is Lev Atanov's The Snow Queen, 1957. This film is about a girl searching for her friend who happened to be kidnapped by the Snow Queen. The Snow Queen is said to have inspired Princess Mononoke, with San resembling Gerda and Lady Eboshi like the Snow Queen. Mr. Bug goes to town. Mr. Bug Goes to Town, 1941, was produced by Fleischer Studios, the same studio that gave us, the black and white Popeye cartoons, as well as the Superman serials of the 40s. Um, in an insect metropolis at a vacant lot in Manhattan, Hoppity, a grasshopper, competes with a corrupt business owner, C. Begley Beetle. C. Bagley Beetle, for the affection of the pretty bee, Honey. Miyazaki's amazing review of Mr. Bug Goes to Town, included in the book Starting Point 1979 to 1986, describes the film as wonderful and incredibly stupid. Animal Farm. Animal Farm is a British American 1954 film produced by Hollis and Batchelor and based on George Orwell's novel of the same name. A group of animals on Mr. Jones' farm, led by Hog Old Major, discuss a possible rebellion against Mr. Jones for his abuse towards them. When Old Major dies, Napoleon, a pig, causes an uprising, resulting in the farm's productivity faltering. Right here, time wise and all that. Now we're coming up on an hour and a half here. Let's see what you guys have been saying these last few minutes here. Hey, let's see. Lupin always deserves a tip of the cap. Mm-hmm. Biden, no, he's only 78. Actually, about 50 with all the child souls he's devoured. Would it be prudent at this juncture? Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, as we continue on here, Michael Ocelot's films. I guess these are a bunch of films that Hayao Miyazaki was influenced by. I'm guessing. Michel Ocelot. Michel Ocelot is a French animator and director with several films in the Ghibli Museum Library, such as Cine C, 1989, Azure and Esmar, 2006, and his latest, Delete, Delili in Paris, 2018. He uses both traditional computer animation with a highly distinctive style. He has won countless awards, including Best Anime Feature at the 2007 Zagreb World Festival of Animated Films for Azure and Asmar. His 1998 debut film, Cacao and the Sorceress, draws from West African folklore and is about how a young boy saves his village from Karaba, an evil witch. The film won several awards, including Best Animation Film in the 1999 Annecy International Animation Film Festival. Another work worth mentioning is The Tales of the Night, where Ocelot uses computer silhouette animation. The story takes place um, at a small theater where a girl, a boy, and a cinema technician present fairy tales such as The Werewolf and The Boy Who Never Lied to one another. Sylvain Chomet's films. Sylvain Chomet is a French animator who directed The Triplets of Belleville in 2003 and The Illusionist in 2010. The Triplets of Belleville is about an elderly woman named Madame Souza who is trying to rescue her grandson. Champion, who was kidnapped, her grandson Champion, who was kidnapped by the French mafia for gambling. In The Illusionist, a struggling magician visits a remote Scottish island and encounters a young woman who is mesmerized by his illusions, but both telling their stories without intelligible dialogue. Chomet's two films won several awards and were nominated for Oscars. Frederick Bach's films. Frederick Bach is a Canadian director who won two Academy Awards for two of his short films, both included in the Ghibli Museum Library Crack in 1982 and The Man Who Planted Three, 1987. In Crack, Bach tells the life story of a rocking chair. The Man Who Planted Trees is based on Jean Giono's short story. In the film. A young man visits a shepherd named Elzéard Beaufier, um, who is restoring a desolate landscape by single-handedly planting trees. let's, let's see. Okay, hour and 29 minutes. The new being said. I'll be right back, guys. All right, continuing on here. Wallace and Gromit, Shaun the Sheep. Some of this claymation stuff, I think, from up in Canada, I believe. Nick Pack and Aardman Animation are best known for the Wallace and Gromit series, which focuses on the adventures of an eccentric inventor named Wallace and his anthropomorphic dog Gromit. Several of his Wallace and Gromit films were distributed by Ghibli, including A Grand Day Out in 1989, The Wrong Trousers, 1993, A Close Shave, 1995, A Matter of Loaf and Death, 2008, and spin-off TV series Shaun the Sheep, 2007-2013. These award-winning films make amazing use of handcrafted stop-motion animation. Isao Takahata and Hayao Miyazaki's early work, a la Lupin the Third. Lupin the Third! A few of Isao Takahata's and Hayao Miyazaki's pre-Ghibli works are included in the Ghibli Museum Library. Panda Go Panda, 1972-73, about a papa panda and his son living with a little orphan girl, is often seen as the predecessor to My Neighbor Totoro. The TV series Lupin the Third, Part 1, 1971-72, first of many anime based on the manga by Monkey Punch, was reworked heavily midway through its run by Miyazaki and Takahata. Ghibli holds the rights for the theatrical screening, but not home video releases. Isao Takahata also produced a beloved anime adaptation of Anne of Green Gables, 1979. These earlier works by Isao Takahata and Hayao Miyazaki are foundational pieces in their development as animators. And that's it for that story. And that's all of the main stories tonight. Um, yeah, we're just past the hour and a half mark here. I think I'm going to start wrapping it up here, unless you guys have anything else you want to talk about, anything like that. I think I will start to wrap it up. If you guys are ready for history, I can't stand that Shaun the Sheep junk. Uninspired, unoriginal, not well executed. History. All right. Well, let me quick peek here. 1971, 1991, and then 2011. Okay, so without any further ado, today being Thursday, January 21st, um, yes, Nietzsche King. Let's take a look back at this day in Nietzsche history. So, first off, we're going to head back 50 years ago today to 1971. Um, don't know much about history. Each it up. Yes, Nietzsche King. King will speak. Okay, so first off, heading back 50 years ago today, on this date in 1971, the 230th issue of Batman went on sale on newsstands. 32 pager with that sold for 15 cents. Yeah, in here, take over paradise and danger comes a looking. So yeah, so on this date in 19, we'll take a quick peek here. Ray Barons, and then Danger Comes Looking. Superman making a guest appearance here in Batman number 230. This one actually featuring Robin. Um, that story. So with that being said, on this date back in 1971, the 230th issue of Batman goes on sale. And we'll speak. Okay, so moving on then to the next piece of niche history. Going back about 30 years ago today, on this date I'm sorry, not 30 years ago, um, on this date 25 years ago today, from the Shetland Arena in Fresno, California, WWE would host the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. In the main event actually saw the Undertaker defeat Bret Hart via DQ for the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. I believe this was a match they had stated where they made it a new, you can the title can change hands on a DQ. Shawn Michaels would win the Royal Rumble in 1996. They also had Goldust defeating Razor Ramon for the Intercontinental Championship, and then the Smoking Guns defeating the Body Donnas for the vacant WWF World Tag Team Championship. And then here's of course, at this point in time, Stone Cold Steve Austin was still competing as ringmaster at this point. But yeah, here are all the. But with that being said, so that happened on this day in 1995. The Royal Rumble held at the Shetland Arena in Fresno, California. And finally, on this date in 2011, the OVA Kodama no Jiken, A Child Summertime, would make its would premiere. It was produced by Studio Barcelona. Um, the OVA Kodama no Jiken, A Child Summertime would premiere on this date in 2011, which was basically 10 years ago today. The classic. So with that being said, I thank you guys again for joining me tonight. And Batgoat, I'll get you the link tomorrow um, for the StreamYard so that we can be ready to go for the historical retrospect. Tomorrow we'll be covering um, September of 1936. There are basically four milestones. There's a couple of premiere issues. There's a number 10 number. So there's like four milestone issues. So I might cover one or two stories in each. I have an idea where I'll be going with that. But I'll be here. Mm-hmm. Have a good one, everyone. Good show. Peace all. All right, guys. So until tomorrow night, bye.